For years, I've watched filmmakers use the Sony FX3 in commercials, weddings, documentaries, pretty much everywhere. I've always wondered if it really deserved all the hype. Recently, I finally got the chance to use one for myself. And after spending a few days with it, I think I finally understand why so many people love this camera. Before we start the video, I would like to mention that this isn't my camera. It's from a good friend of mine and a mentor who was kind enough to lend me his own FX3 so I could make this video for you guys. Okay, the first thing that really impressed me wasn't actually the image quality, it was the size. This little guy is so tiny and so compact that I really could take this anywhere with me, just throw it in the backpack and just, go do the settings and just shoot whatever I want. This is actually one of the first things that stood out to me from this camera, and I can feel the quality of it as well. It's pretty good in my opinion. It's actually very nice, very firm in the hand. The grip is good. So yeah, the first thing is actually the size, which impressed me. It's quite compact. One of the first things that I've noticed after picking up the FX3 is that everything is really built around video. All of the buttons are really built around video. The recording button is huge. You have another one here down if you forget to press the first one. The custom buttons are placed really in the best places possible that you might think of using them. And that's really well when you're out there and just need to shoot. You don't want to go into menus and just look for the button that you have to pick. Another thing which I've tried and seen is that the tally lights are really useful in a lot of places when you're recording, and usually if I shoot on my A7III, I forget that I'm shooting if I don't look at the screen. And certain times I might not look at the screen, and then when I just saw what the FX3 can do with the tally lights, even if I forget that I pressed record button, I know that I did, and so I might not make a huge disaster while I'm shooting. I'm not going to pretend that I can tell colors by looking at a tree, but I can say this much. The colors of this camera are amazing. They are fantastic. I literally can't say anything else. The image really does look clean, and it really has that cinematic feel. And that's why I really actually want to get my hands on this camera and actually try it out for myself and see what it can actually do. And honestly, I was very impressed by it. Here are a few things that really stood out to me. The cooling fan. The fact that this camera can be used for hours on end without having problems with overheating is really a plus. This is really a huge thing, for me at least. Because once you actually start doing stuff like this, making content in general, you will have to perhaps shoot for hours, and you need to have a lot of SD cards, a lot of batteries. You need a camera which is really capable to take it without having problems with overheating and dying on you when you actually need it the most. Now, the second thing which really stood out to me a lot was also the fact that the camera is really compact. I can easily imagine myself using this camera for a lot of things, including putting it on a gimbal and using it for an entire day without having any back problem. Even if I had a more bulky lens on this big boy, and it would still feel light. Even if I had a monitor, it would still feel light, even if I had the monitor on this camera. So that's another huge thing for me into having a compact camera. The third thing that stood out to me after mentioning the others is the buttons. As you guys can see, there are so many buttons on the FX3 for a lot of things. You have mode, you have the menu, you have focus magnifier, you have the white balance, the ISO. There are just so many a lot of buttons that you can just customize them to fit your own needs. And after you mastered using those buttons, you will probably never go back into the menu settings ever again, only for very specific needs, but you mostly stay away from the menu button, which is actually one of the best things that you can do as a content creator. So yeah, my personal advice would be start using buttons if your camera has them, your custom buttons, and just tailor them to your specific needs, and you'll just be very very grateful after you do that and you master this. Price is just so much. The FX3 is really an expensive camera without having to take into consideration taking a lens, some SD cards which are fast enough to actually use the maximum of the quality this little guy can actually pull off. And so for a lot of people, I think this camera is mostly an overkill. You can just buy an FX30 and just have mostly the same things that this guy can do. The second thing which I don't like about this camera is the fact that it doesn't have an EVF. If you actually want to go into photography and still take a few shots, sure, you can use this camera for that, but don't expect a lot of things from it. But probably the people that go buying the FX3 really don't need or expect to take photos with it, though I've heard some people who actually did use their FX30 or FX3 and took some photos, some very basic photos. But you know, if you go into video, don't expect to have really good photos from a video camera. So yeah, that's another downside in my opinion. So, do I really think that the FX3 really does deserve the hype? Yeah. Now I think I understand why so many people and so many creators look up to this camera and enjoy it, and have recommended to so many other creatives in the industry, since it really does fit a lot of people's needs. And as I've said, it's a good compact camera. It's a very good compact camera. It's light enough. It's really tailored to professionals mostly, since you have so many things that professionals use a lot of the time. Have so many custom buttons that you can use for whatever you actually need. You have a lot of the quality of the image, I mean, is very good, and you can just do a lot of stuff with it. So yeah. So does this camera make you a better filmmaker? Of course, a good story will always matter more than the camera you are using. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I've got a lot more filmmaking content coming soon, so I'll see you guys on the next video.